Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we're delving into The People vs. Tech by Jamie Bartlett, a thought-provoking exploration of technology's impact on democracy. Published in 2018, this book scrutinizes the ways in which the digital age is destabilizing the foundational elements of democratic systems. From the importance of active citizenship and shared political values, to the sanctity of free elections and the balance of governmental power. With a keen, analytical eye, Bartlett uncovers the invisible threats that technology poses to equality and community, pulling back the curtain on a potential dystopian future that seems eerily within reach. Yet, The People vs. Tech is not merely a cautionary tale, but a roadmap that identifies the choices leading us to this precipice and offers an alternative path towards preserving our democratic institutions. As the director of the Center for the Analysis of Social Media at Demos, Jamie Bartlett brings a wealth of expertise to the table. His position at the forefront of a UK think tank dedicated to social media analysis, combined with his extensive experience writing for prominent publications and his status as a best-selling author, makes Bartlett's insights especially compelling. This episode is a must-listen for anyone concerned about the intersection of the internet and society. Employees anxious about the encroachment of artificial intelligence on the job market, and aficionados of dystopian fiction who appreciate narratives grounded in reality that resonate with contemporary societal issues. Join us as we navigate the complex terrain of technology and democracy in The People vs. Tech, and consider what it means for our collective future. The People vs. Tech: How the Internet is Killing Democracy and How We Save It. Introduction. When technology clashes with democracy, imagine a world where omnipresent digital technologies drive our decisions, shape our thoughts, and influence our politics. It's not the stuff of science fiction. It's the reality we're already living. As we navigate the digital age, we're finding that the innovations we celebrate, from social media platforms to artificial intelligence, carry with them a paradoxical power. They can liberate us with information and connections, yet they also have the potential to erode the very foundations of democracy. The transformation is not just around the corner, it's already here. But how exactly is technology locking horns with democratic principles? And what can be done to protect the ideals we hold dear? The rise of untraceable transactions and their impact on society. Money makes the world go around, and in today's world, the emergence of cryptocurrencies and encryption technologies are spinning it into uncharted territories. Democratic governments, which rely on the transparency of financial transactions to combat crime and fund public initiatives, now face new age currencies that offer anonymity to those who use them. Cryptocurrencies, powered by complex encryption, enable transactions that are nearly impossible to trace. These hidden financial flows can undermine a nation's sovereignty as funding for rogue organizations and illicit activities evade the watchful eyes of law enforcement and regulatory agencies. The challenges and consequences of sophisticated AI. Artificial intelligence is transforming our lives, often in ways that enhance efficiency and innovation. Yet, the integration of AI into the global economy harbors a silent threat to the middle class. As machines learn to perform tasks that once required human hands and minds, jobs are at risk. This looming technological displacement could hollow out the middle class, the economic backbone of many democracies. The threat isn't limited to manual labor. Even specialized professions are vulnerable as AI grows ever more advanced. The resulting inequality and social instability could shake the democratic balance, leaving societies grappling with deep-seated economic dissatisfaction. A proactive blueprint for the digital age. So, what can be done to preserve democracy amid the relentless surge of technology? Solutions abound, but they require both governmental action and individual commitment. Policymakers must craft regulations that harness the benefits of technology while mitigating its risks to the social order and economy. This includes laws that address data privacy, digital monopolies, and ensure that AI advancements don't deepen social divides. Citizens also have a crucial role to play, staying informed, advocating for transparency, and engaging critically with the digital tools that pervade our lives. It's imperative that we foster digital literacy, promoting an understanding of the algorithms that infiltrate our news feeds and the vested interests that may lurk behind them. The key is to act with urgency and foresight, embracing the innovations that drive us forward, while vigilantly safeguarding the democratic values that define us. The time to reinforce the bulwarks of democracy is now, before the relentless tide of technology leaves us floundering in its wake. Part 1. How technology challenges the fundamental pillars of democracy. Think about the essential ingredients of a lively democracy: the clamor of voices debating policies, the sound of minds changing during discussions, and the clear ring of a vote being cast. It's a picture of citizens engaging fully, deliberately in the shared task of self-governance. Democracy operates best when its participants are active, digging into the issues, engaging in thoughtful debate, and turning up to exercise their right to vote. This harmonious and involved pattern of behavior can be likened to guests mixing and mingling at a well-hosted party, each contributing to a spirited atmosphere. For a democracy to truly flourish, this engagement must unfold within a culture that respects the process of rational debate and the art of compromise. Picture a party where discussions are had, disagreements are aired, and resolutions are reached without souring the evening. This is the embodiment of an amicable democratic environment, one that enables people to address their differences and still stride forward in unison. If, however, the conversations turn into brawls, the party, much like a democratic process, would quickly break down. Now let's add another twist. Imagine this bustling gathering where only a few guests dominate the exchanges, drowning out other voices. This wouldn't just dampen the party spirit, it would dismantle the democratic principle of equality. For a democracy to be effective, it requires that everyone has an equal voice. Moreover, this inclusion should extend to forming associations and engaging in discussions that are free from external meddling, mirroring the liberty to circulate and converse at a party. Finally, consider the host's role, not just to throw the party but to nurture it, making sure that everyone is participating in a way that keeps the party alive and well. In the democratic environment, this caretaker is the government, using its power to foster and maintain a healthy state of active, free, and equal participation among citizens. However, digital technology is starting to put stress on these foundational elements. It's like a gatecrasher that sneaks into our democratic party, amplifying some voices while muting others, distorting information, and challenging the very norms that keep the party going. In the following moments, we will explore precisely how technology is straining each democratic pillar, contemplate the potential fallout, and then turn our eyes to strategies that might avert a total collapse. We'll examine how we can reel in the disruptive technological forces to preserve our democratic soiree, enabling it to continue with the same vitality and purpose that are its lifeblood. Part 2. Understanding technology's erosion of political maturity and independence. Active citizenship is firmly rooted in the qualities of political maturity, the willingness to think independently, and the capacity for sound judgment. For a healthy democracy, citizens need to not only vote, but also engage with political subjects thoughtfully and fearlessly. Unfortunately, recent digital advancements in social media, big data, and artificial intelligence are beginning to diminish these crucial characteristics. Let's consider how social media platforms can ironically stifle free speech. The threat of backlash, data surveillance, or negative attention from employers makes self-censorship attractive. Suddenly, platforms designed to amplify voices become stages for reciting socially acceptable lines. That's if anything is said at all. When the prospect of facing online mobs or long-term repercussions leads to silence or echoing the masses, it halts the process whereby individuals form, voice, and evolve their perspectives, a process fundamental to political engagement and development. Meanwhile, big data's increasingly refined methods of data analysis and targeted advertising can quietly manipulate opinions. Through custom-tailored political ads, companies can exploit someone's fleeting emotions to influence their political leanings. Imagine reacting to an online post, only to be instantly met with propaganda that feeds your immediate sentiment, regardless of whether that sentiment reflects your usual beliefs or a momentary impulse. And then there's artificial intelligence, the emergent powerhouse capable of outsmarting human decision-making. AI's promise to ease our cognitive load comes with a hidden cost, a growing deficit in our confidence to make our own choices. Applications like iSide With, which use algorithms to recommend political candidates based on user preferences, are just a glimpse into a future where we might lean on AI not only for answers to mundane queries, but also for direction on matters of democratic importance. Just as children are expected to reach a certain maturity before they are invited into the political arena, all citizens must wrestle with and grow from their political experiences. So, when technology begins to overshadow that growth, when it encourages us to mute our discourse, yields manipulation under the guise of personalization, or invites us to hand our choices to an algorithm, it poses a multifaceted threat to the active engagement that feeds the soul of democracy. We must recognize this encroachment to protect and revitalize our role as active, mature, and independent participants in the democratic process. Part 3. How technology feeds political tribalism and disrupts unity. Politics is often likened to a gathering, a forum where individuals come together to express their views and seek common ground. But just as easily as the internet can unite us for global movements, it also has the uncanny ability to narrow our world, appealing to our instinct to band together with those who share our convictions and grievances. This inherent human propensity gives rise to tribes, communities united not only by common interests, but by a collective sense of struggle or injustice. The era of digital connectivity and information abundance has supercharged tribalism. The internet is the perfect tool for finding or forming these specialized tribes, breaking society down into ever smaller factions, each rallying around its unique cause. If a group doesn't already exist, a few clicks can bring it into being. Once connected, technology ensures that tribes stay charged with information that reinforces their collective mindset. It's a landscape so rich in content that every tribe can easily find media outlets that echo its particular beliefs. Algorithm-driven platforms like YouTube exacerbate this trend. Start watching one type of video, and the platform's predictive models will keep feeding you similar content, tightening the loop around your pre-existing notions. This relentless stream shapes your reality, gradually cementing your viewpoints and carving a deeper divide between your tribe and others. The political consequences of this technological tribalism are significant. Dialogue becomes strained, cooperation stalls, and politics, once a space for collective deliberation, devolves into a battlefield of us versus them. It's not just about disagreeing on policies anymore. It's about viewing those on the other side as outright enemies, which paves the way for the rise of demagogues. Leaders who can tap into the tribal mentality, who promise to stand against perceived foes and protect the interests of one tribe against all others, gain fervent followings. It's a phenomenon that was vividly illustrated in the American political landscape of 2016, when Donald Trump's campaign capitalized on this divisiveness, drawing supporters with his pledges to defend them from the perceived threats posed by other tribes, whether they were identified as immigrants, rival political factions, or the media. As we step further into the digital age, we must be aware of the way our technologies not only connect us, but also compartmentalize us, fostering divisions that eat away at democratic unity. Remaining alert to this digital tribalism and its discontents is crucial if we are to find a path back to a collaborative and cohesive political discourse. Part 4: The digital threat to electoral integrity. Visualize, if you will, a futuristic tale in which an ominous figure uses advanced technology to warp the will of every voter. On election day, victory is effortlessly secured. While this scenario belongs to the realm of dystopian fantasy, the notion of voters' autonomy being subtly compromised is all too real, and the offender here is big data. Free and fair elections lie at the heart of democracy, hinging on voters casting their ballots without undue pressure or manipulation. Yet, as the nexus of technology and politics grows stronger, political parties are beginning to sway voters in ways previously unimaginable. Big data, vast stores of information ranging from online browsing habits to previous voting behavior, empowers political actors to paint intricate portraits of the electorate and micro-target messages with precision. Take, for instance, the 2016 United States presidential election, where the collaboration between Cambridge Analytica and Donald Trump's campaign team drew connections between consumer choices, such as American car purchasing habits and political inclinations. This analysis pointed the campaign toward voters ripe for persuasion, shaping a tactical blueprint for rallies and television adverts that ultimately played a pivotal role in Trump's victory. However, this is just the beginning. The future promises an ever-expanding reservoir of data from increasingly interconnected devices. Imagine a networked fridge that keeps tabs on your diet, or a smart TV that tracks your program preferences. Each piece of data contributes to an ever clearer picture of the voting populace. This growing trend towards gargantuan data suggests that consultants' ability to discern complex patterns in our behaviors and preferences will become more sophisticated, perhaps alarmingly so. What appears remarkable today may soon be the new baseline in political strategy. Thus, the crux of the modern challenge: to maintain the sanctity of our elections in an era when technological advancements enable increasingly granular and potentially invasive dissections of our lives. As political parties embrace this arms race of data analytics, the pressure mounts to establish boundaries that both preserve the power of the data and protect the democratic principle of a truly free and undisturbed vote. Part 5: The looming disparity. AI's impact on jobs and inequality. Artificial intelligence. For some, it's a beacon of progress. For others, a harbinger of obsolescence. The prospect of AI usurping human roles in the workplace has long fueled debates and dystopian narratives. While predictions of AI's capabilities may be exaggerated regarding its takeover timeline, the more immediate concern surrounds the kinds of jobs it will displace. The jobs most vulnerable to AI intervention aren't necessarily those you might expect. The crux of AI's threat to employment lies in routine tasks, the kind that follows predictable patterns and can be encoded into algorithms. Self-driving technology is a prime example. It threatens to replace the jobs of truck drivers because navigating a highway involves consistent routine actions that AI can replicate. On the flip side, jobs that demand creativity, non-routine problem-solving, or intricate physical tasks, think of a machine learning specialist or a gardener, aren't as easily handed off to AI. These roles require a human touch that technology can't yet mimic. The dichotomy here leads us to what might be called a barbell economy. Plentiful, high-paying, non-routine jobs at one end and abundant low-wage, non-routine jobs at the other, but a hollowing out of mid-level routine jobs. The middle class, traditionally employed in these now threatened occupations, such as legal aides, accountants, and certain medical technicians, could see its ranks diminish sharply. As AI's significance in the economy grows, so too will the economic divide. Those with the skills to master AI could command higher salaries, while those displaced from routine jobs might flood the market for lower-skilled, non-routine roles, dragging down wages. The effects on democracy could be profound. When income inequality stretches wider, It doesn't just put a strain on the economy, it creates parallel worlds. The affluent and the impoverished increasingly occupy different social spheres, exacerbating divisions within society. From dwindling tax revenues to heightened social ills like crime and substance abuse, the resulting tensions could tug at the very fabric of democratic unity. At its heart, democracy relies upon a middle ground, a common space where citizens can meet. If AI tilts the balance, carving society into disjointed extremes, protecting our democratic foundations will become all the more challenging. How we adapt to this technological evolution and how we shield our social and political structures from its disruptive forces will shape the democratic landscape for generations to come. Part 6. The Rise of Tech Monopolies and Their Hold Over Society. Imagine a seesaw where on one side the fortunes of many are plummeting, while on the other a handful are catapulting towards the stratosphere. This scene is emblematic of the economic trajectory we're witnessing as the disruptive forces of AI and technology rewrite our socioeconomic landscapes. As this new era unfolds, tech companies stand at the precipice of unparalleled influence, with the potential to consolidate power into monopolies unlike any we've ever seen. The pathway to such dominance is paved by two key phenomena in the tech industry. The first is known as the network effect. It's a self-reinforcing mechanism wherein the value of a service magnifies with every new participant. Consider the case of Uber. The platform grows exponentially more valuable as more riders and drivers join its ranks, a virtuous cycle that perpetuates expansion, greatly advantaging the leading network in sidelining competition. The second factor is the exceptional scalability at which tech companies operate. Digital platforms can incorporate new users or services with minimal incremental costs compared to traditional companies. Airbnb, for instance, can add a plethora of new accommodations across the globe on its platform almost instantaneously, at little cost, a feat a traditional hotel chain could never hope to match. Monopolies are not a novel specter in the annals of economic history, but what sets tech monopolies apart is the degree of control they can exert. They're enmeshed in the political machine, not simply because of monetary influence, but also because political parties increasingly depend on digital platforms to engage and mobilize voters. Tech companies' ownership of these platforms confers upon them unprecedented sway over public discourse. They are no longer mere players, they're becoming the game's arbiters, with the power to steer conversations, opinions, and even legislative outcomes. This reality was starkly demonstrated when Google, facing the Stop Online Piracy Act, channeled its platform's influence to drive millions of signatures to a petition, playing a pivotal role in the bill's eventual demise. This instance is an early exhibit of the potential reach tech companies have over democratic mechanisms. If the unchecked ascent of tech monopolies continues, the integrity of democratic systems could be at stake. With their hands on the digital levers that move society, these companies could weave and unweave the fabric of our public and political lives, a prospect that confronts us with the urgent need to scrutinize and future-proof our democracies against such concentrated power. Part 7. Encryption's Challenge to State Authority and Societal Norms. Democracy is a balancing act, one where the scales of personal freedom are weighed against the necessary reach of government authority. This balance often hinges on the control and transparency of information, with democratic governance ensuring the enforcement of laws through legitimate means of coercion. Governments need this power to compel adherence to collective rules, from tax collection to the regulation of public behavior. However, a rising movement operates under the banner of crypto-anarchy, championing encryption as a tool to resist state control. Encryption, the process of encoding messages to protect privacy, forms the bedrock of crypto-anarchy. This movement promotes the use of cryptographic software to evade governmental oversight and foster what could be considered a counter-democratic state of untouchable autonomy. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin exemplify the spirit of this movement. Harnessing blockchain technology, Bitcoin allows individuals to carry out secure, near-anonymous transactions independent of any central authority. By escaping traditional fiscal oversight, these digital currencies skirt the mechanisms that governments rely upon to exert their influence, such as monetary regulation and tax collection. The underlying technology of Bitcoin, the blockchain, is fortifying a brand of societal exchange that's beyond the government's reach. Consider blockchain as a vault of unalterable records maintained across a sprawling network. Compromising or altering information within this system becomes a Sisyphean endeavor. Consider the implications. Blockchain-based marketplaces emerge, trafficking in illicit goods from drugs to stolen data, while akin social media platforms become vessels for everything from hate speech to terrorist recruitment, all without fear of removal or traceability by government agencies. The danger is not only that illegal acts proliferate, but that they chip away at the authority of the law itself. Governments might find their voices dwindling to whispers, unable to enforce standards or protect the public good effectively. As we hurtle deeper into the digital age, the question we must ask is how to reconcile the need for privacy and security in our communications with the equally necessary power of a democratically elected government to enforce laws. The challenge will be to navigate these murky waters, crafting policies that maintain personal freedoms without rendering the instruments of democratic governance obsolete in a world where tech-savvy actors operate with increasing impunity. Part 8. The Fork in the Road, Dystopia or Techno-Authoritarianism. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path veers toward a dark land ravaged by disarray, the other toward an iron-fisted realm where technology enforces unprecedented control. This is the future that potentially awaits democracy if it fails to navigate the present-day challenges posed by emerging tech trends. The bleakest of futures is one of uncurbed chaos, a dystopian society where the intersection of rampant inequality and technological power concentrates wealth and resources into the clutches of a privileged few. As social structures crumble, these elite few seek refuge within fortified enclaves, much like tech mogul Peter Thiel's safe house in New Zealand, forsaking a disintegrating world outside their high-tech bastions. Yet, the more imminent alternative isn't much brighter. It's a slide into techno-authoritarianism. This scenario sees escalating social issues driven by inequality, rampant substance use, deepening mental health crises, spiking crime rates, met with a clamor for more assertive government intervention. But the government, strapped by diminished revenues and a faltering middle class, buckles under these demands. People's faith in democratic institutions erodes, spiraling into deeper disarray. Amidst growing fractures in society, notably between the tech-savvy elite and the teeming underclass, there arises a demand for radical solutions. In this climate, fears and frustrations could pave the way for a techno-authoritarian leader, one who champions technology as the panacea for all societal ills. Efforts might focus on combating crime, addressing climate change, or alleviating poverty. And the allure of swift, tech-driven solutions may eclipse traditional democratic preferences. Moreover, the very architects of these technologies, the tech elite, could emerge as newfound rulers. Their expertise, resources, and innovations might make them appear as saviors, equipped to restore order in a floundering democracy, marking a shift from elected representation to a governance model dictated by technological prowess. Confronting this potential future requires a reckoning with present trends and their implications for democratic health. It demands strategies to mitigate disengagement, polarization, and the erosion of trust, and it needs the foresight to prevent a wholesale surrender to technological determinism, all to ensure that democracy isn't replaced by a rule where technology dictates rather than serves the public good. Part 9. Reimagining Democracy in the Age of Technology. In the tapestry of history, democracy has transformed alongside society, from the intimate town hall gatherings of ancient Greece to the sprawling, representative systems of the modern era. Yet, as we've ventured into the digital age, democracy seems to have stalled, struggling to reconcile with the pace of technological progress. Today, the challenge is clear. Democracy must evolve once more, lest it be swept aside by the currents of innovation. The key to survival and prosperity in this new landscape is to adapt and reform, to construct a democracy that is resilient and revitalized in the face of tech-driven change. The first step to an updated democracy involves governments reasserting themselves in the digital sphere. By introducing rigorous oversight on data usage and algorithm deployment, governments can curtail the manipulation potential of big data. Antitrust legislation can check the might of emerging tech monopolies, while state-issued cryptocurrencies can bring the blockchain economy back under regulatory purview. Furthermore, public ownership of platforms akin to Uber or the infrastructure for autonomous vehicles could ensure that technological gains are distributed for the common good. Yet, the pivot to a fortified democracy extends past governance alone. It must also empower citizens. Revamping education to focus on critical thinking and digital literacy is paramount. Voters armed with these skills are less susceptible to manipulation, able to discern fact from fiction, and understand the inner workings of the digital world. Beyond education, creating a culture where political engagement is celebrated could involve turning election days into occasions of communal deliberation, with public holidays dedicated to debates and discourse. Inequality, a threat magnified by technological upheavals, can be addressed by reinforcing worker protections within the gig economy, facilitating unionization, and investing in job creation within burgeoning sectors like renewable energy and biotechnology. Retraining programs funded by the government can lend stability to those navigating a job market in flux. To finance these initiatives, we may need to explore novel taxation models, such as levies on the robots that supplement human labor. This would not only serve to sustain public services, but also to share the benefits of automation more widely. By embracing these reforms, democracies can reclaim mastery over the forces of technology. Rather than being eroded by digital advancements, democracies can harness them to promote engagement, enhance equality, and expand prosperity. It is through such a profound renaissance that democracy can continue its journey, not as a relic of the past, but as a beacon into the future. Final summary. As the digital age hurtles forward, it brings with it a trove of advancements that enhance our everyday lives in ways we couldn't have imagined just a few decades ago. Yet, with these strides in technology come significant challenges to the very essence of democratic society. The principles that have supported democratic institutions for centuries, active citizenship, reasoned debate, equality, and a fair electoral process, are under threat from the momentum of digital change. Technology's reach has pervaded every corner of our lives, from the information we consume to the way we interact with one another. In doing so, it has begun to erode our political discourse, chip away at the egalitarian nature of civic participation, manipulate our voting behaviors, and exacerbate economic disparities. Uncontrolled, these forces can drive us down a path leading to societal fragmentation, manipulated governance, and ultimately either the chaos of a fallen democracy or the cold order of a techno-authoritarian regime. However, this is not an inevitable fate. By actively recognizing the issues that technology brings to the table, governments and citizens alike can take steps to reshape democracy to be resilient in the face of tech-driven evolution. This involves implementing smart policy measures, embracing a digital-first mindset in public infrastructure, equipping citizens with the skills to navigate the digital landscape, and innovating taxation to sustain the necessary societal transitions. In closing, while we stand in awe of the relentless advance of technology, we must remember that the crux of democracy lies in its adaptability and the collective will to preserve its core principles. By updating the social contract for the digital age, we can build a future where technology doesn't subvert democracy, but serves as a catalyst for its rejuvenation, ensuring a future where both can thrive. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.